Salam. I am Mohammed Abdul Karim. Mohammed Abdul Karim. Salam. It is still fisheries and wildlife. I am Mohammed Abdul Karim, a 200 level course in the Nigerian University, especially here in Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture. You can always refer to our textbook, especially Fisheries and Wildlife, written by Mohammed Abdul Karim, Magaji Isa, and Dr. Zikrullah Al-Haji, and others. I'm going to take two topics: life table, ecological and sociological problems facing wildlife population, and survivorship curve. Life table is a statistical device by which a table is computed to show a complete picture of age distribution, mortality, survival, and life expectancy of animal population. Usually, the tables are computed for wildlife animals. Animals differ in the number of young they produce in a year, and average lifespan which they live, as well as the mortality rate. This is the basics of wildlife management and decision making. There are so many disadvantages of life table. One, only half of the population of the 30 animals is represented. This may not be unconnected to the fact that animals occupy large area. They go into the forest and move out of the forest. Number two, it does not give rate of reproduction. The table only applies at a point of time. Type of life table. Life table can be classified based on the type of data used in the constructing the table. There are two. We have cohort, which is dynamic. It changes with time. And current. Current is time specific. Life table can be used to predict biotic potentials of animals. The table, the structure of the table normally shows that number of young ones balancing the number of death. Both the number of death and birth rate are constant in the life history of the population of the animal. The table also shows the critical stages which the mortality rate is high. Sources of some of the animal species can be shown, and actual information on the exploitation of the animals will be known. Let's take current, which is time specific. Usually refer to the table where the mortality in a population is recorded over a period of time. This type of table usually employs the animals in natural wildlife habitat by the use of some physical structures such as initial population of the animals, which is obtained by census. The table is constructed for each year. It is assumed that the animals are born at the same time. It's also called cross-sectional life table, whereby it employs data for a single cross-section of time to represent the entire generation. Cohort. This is a table obtained from the record of animal from the fate of the group of the animals. Animals born at the same time tend to constitute a cohort. Some will die at certain stage. Cohort table is difficult to prepare for wildlife species because you have to keep track of any given group of animals newly born. Hypothetical current life table to illustrate how it is calculated, including that of the current life table. Don't be scared. It's just a simple arithmetic here. The columns here, you have capital X, which shows the range of age of the animals in the population from 0 to 1 year. That means from 1 month, 2 months, 3 days, to up to 1 year. The LS, L here with small letter, is representing the population of the animals, which is 100,000. In the second year, the age range is between 1 to 2 years. You have 95,301. To get DS, which is the mortality, you subtract 95,301 from 100,000. It will give you 4,699. To get the mortality rate, which is QX, you divide DS by LX. That is 4,699 divide by 100,000. You do it well, you get 0.047. That is the mortality rate, the rate at which the animals are dying in the first year. L here with the capital L's is simply representing the number of years lived in the aggregate by the cohort. Here means the number of years that animals die, or number of years the animal gave birth. So we assume to be 50. Some are dying, some are being born. So we use 0.5 here. So LX is equals to L with the small letter X, which is the initial population of the animal, 100,000, minus 0.5 times dx. It will give you 98,590. That is the number of years the animal lived in the aggregate. Tx is the number of years lived by the cohort or set of individuals in the population under consideration after attaining the age of the hx. It is usually considered as the total feature of life table of the animal or individual that reach that H. The formula is given below. To get S, you simply add 98,590 plus 94,533, so on, so on, so on. It will give you 377,891 in the first year. To get ES raised to power 0, ES raised to power 0 is the complete expectation of life. That is the average number of additional years an individual age X is expected to live under the prevailing mortality condition. The formula is also given. So, for example, column 1, that 377,891 divided by the initial stock, which is 100,000, will give you 3.778. Ecological and sociological problems facing wildlife population. Let me just remind you at this junction, please kindly subscribe, view. This will prop me up and will make me to produce more beautiful videos for you. The videos will not only be on fisheries and wildlife courses. It's going to be problem solving videos to practicing fishermen. Wildlife conservation faces problems arising from ecological and sociological setup of the areas on which they perform their duties. These problems are misuse of fire, damage of habitat by big game, overutilization of areas around water, and poaching. Misuse of fire. Fire in wildlife management is a double sword. It can be used for destruction, and it can also be used for managing the wildlife resources. Because misuse of fire can destroy the whole forest, kills organisms, beneath the soil. These organisms, they are very, very useful in the soil. They enter the soil, thereby creating pore species. These pore species is useful in the sense that it allows percolation of water, air, and it will improve the soil structure and soil texture. The migratory headlands bond grasses to stimulate growth of palatable grasses. Indiscriminate fire leads to the burning of wood logs. Habitat destruction by elephant. Elephant can uproot the whole tree, eat it. African elephant is a major problem in the game reserve in Nigeria. It's an agent of habitat and landscape change. The food and feeding habit of this animal exert considerable change in the habitat. They fall down trees from the soil and damage the grasses. This will encourage soil erosion. Poachers, unlike hunters or hunting, Hunting can be viewed as legal, whereas poachers is illegal hunting in the reserve. It's more or less a perennial problem. The poachers are not only from villages along the reserve, but also from nearby villages. They organize themselves into hunting parties. Poachers cause large-scale reduction of wildlife population. The activities can lead to local extinction of some animal species. General solution: complete and repeated burning of the vegetation along watercourse, game view, road or track should be discouraged in order to satisfy the grazing. People set up fire to allow tourists and people to watch animals without obstruction. They can watch animals far but it should be discouraged in order to satisfy the grazing animals. Fire set off smokes. These smokes can drive away flies and some insects. But repeated burning of the vegetation along watercourse and game viewing, road or tracks should be discouraged. Managers should prevent external burning that will extend into grasses, into the reserves. You should divide the game into paddocks. One part for burning, the other one should be allowed to regenerate grasses. Control of damage by elephant. Population of elephant could be controlled. A well-planned shooting program to kill elephant can successfully control the animal population. Animal to be killed can be worked out after thoroughly studying the population. Control poaching should be intensified. Poaching community should be monitored, especially their socio-economic aspect of life. This poacher depends on wildlife resources for their food. So if you prevent them from hunting, they will do it when you are not around, when the guards are not around. So it is advisable from time to time you organize a hunting game, and the owner should be allowed to take the animal and share it among themselves. It's like we have covered this area, general solutions to ecological and sociological problems facing wildlife solution. Complete and repeated burning of the vegetation along watercourse, game viewing, road, or trash should be discouraged in order to satisfy the grazing animals. Mismanagement and overgrazing can lead to abuse of rangeland. Continuous overutilization by livestock, wildlife animals can remove certain desirable and highly palatable plants from the ecosystem. Fire is a part and parcel of managing renewable resources, such as wildlife, forestry, and domestic livestock. The early man used fire for hunting and cooking. Later, when agriculture comes into existence, fire is used for the land preparation and management of pest control. Fire now is used to produce grassland in the savannah. Today, wildlife managers of game reserve use fire as a tool for achieving appropriate integration of renewable natural resources. According to outdoor Leopold, game can be restored by the creative use of the same tools which have here to destroy it. Examples: fire, gun, axe. Habitat control or habitat management, as it is most often referred to, is the active application of these tools, fire and guns, to the land in order to promote land health and enhance availability of the three basic requirements to all wildlife species: food, shelter, water. It is very, very important that land managers today understand basic ecological principles of plant succession. Succession is the change in plant species composition and the structure over time. It is this succession that land managers are trying to use to manipulate the growth of grasses. Habitat management. Efficient and effective habitat management is important prerequisite which must be satisfied. Conservation is an effort to maintain and use natural resources wisely. We have two types of burning. We have early burning and late burning. Early burning is carried out at the beginning of the dry season when most of the vegetation is usually dry, while late burning is carried out at the end of the drying days of the dry season. There are many factors determining the intensity of burning. You have air and soil moisture, amount of combustion matter, air and soil temperature, season of the year, time of the day, and topography.